Today is Wednesday, April 29th, 2026, and as of this moment, Seagate Technology Holdings plc is trading at $679.38. We are seeing a massive intraday surge of 14.02%, which translates to a gain of $83.52 per share during today's session. The trading volume is exceptionally high, currently sitting at roughly 6 million shares compared to the typical average. This movement isn't just a random fluctuation, it is a direct response to a massive earnings beat and a structural shift in how the market values the hard drive business. Most people look at a company like Seagate and see a legacy hardware manufacturer, a relic of the spinning disk that surely must be losing ground to flash storage. However, the reality on the ground today is exactly the opposite. While the narrative for years was that SSDs would kill the hard drive, the explosion of artificial intelligence has actually revived the need for mass-capacity mechanical storage. If you look at the numbers released just hours ago, the expectations were for a non-GAAP profit of $3.46 per share, but Seagate delivered $4.10. Revenue hit $3.11 billion, which is a 44% jump year over year. The insight that most retail traders are missing right now is that Seagate is no longer just selling hardware, they are selling predictability. They've moved into long-term, contract-driven business models with hyperscale cloud providers. These companies can't afford to wait for spot market pricing on storage when they are building out massive AI training clusters. This creates a floor for Seagate's revenue that simply didn't exist 3 or 4 years ago. This is why you see the stock pushing towards its 52-week high of $686.25 right now. The market realized that the death of the HDD was a false premise. When you compare the movement of Seagate to something like NVIDIA stock or Apple stock, you see a different kind of momentum. NVIDIA provides the brains, but Seagate provides the memory of the internet. The common ground among investors is the belief that cloud spending will drive everything, but the contrarian take that's proving true today is that the cost per terabyte of hard drives is still so much lower than flash that for the massive datasets required by AI, hard drives are the only economical choice. For anyone using online investing tools or searching for investment help, this is a classic case of a value stock transforming into a growth stock in real time. Whether you are using a self-investing approach through the Robinhood app or managing a more complex setup on the Interactive Brokers platform, the data suggests that institutional activity is shifting towards these infrastructure backbones. Looking at the intraday activity, we've seen the price bounce from a low of $553.20 all the way to this current $679 level. That is an incredible range for a single day. It tells us there was a massive short squeeze or a complete re-rating by big banks. Institutional players like those moving through Fidelity Brokerage or managing a Schwab Intelligent portfolio are likely seeing the gross margin of 42.2% and realizing this is a high-margin software-like profile hidden inside a hardware company. The Mosaic 3 Plus platform, which uses heat-assisted magnetic recording, or HAMR, is the specific catalyst here. It allows for higher density than anyone thought possible. If you're checking your Fidelity mobile app today, you'll see that Seagate has basically decoupled from the broader tech slump that some other sectors are feeling. Now, let's talk about the business itself for a second to ground this in reality. Seagate is one of the 2 dominant players in the hard disk drive market. They don't just make drives for your old laptop, they build the massive arrays that power the cloud. Their business model is built on mass capacity storage. While consumer-grade hard drives are a shrinking part of the pie, the enterprise and cloud segment is where the real action is. In previous reports, like the one from late 2025, we saw revenue stabilizing, but this 2026 surge is about expansion. They are successfully qualifying their new 30 terabyte plus drives with the world's largest cloud customers. When a company like Amazon or Google qualifies a drive, it's a multi-year commitment. This is the hidden stability that makes this stock different from the volatile swings of something like Tesla stock. For those of you who prefer online investing through platforms like SoFi Invest or various investing sites, you've probably noticed that the dividend yield is currently around 0.5%. While that's not a huge payout, the fact that they are paying a dividend at all while growing revenue at 44% is a sign of extreme fiscal health. They even retired $500 million in debt recently. This is the kind of balance sheet management that attracts wealth management firms. If you look at the Fidelity trading platform data, you can see that the buy ratings on this stock has jumped to nearly 80%. People are finally waking up to the fact that as long as we generate data, we need somewhere to put it, and flash storage is still too expensive for the cold or warm data that makes up 90% of the world's information. Let's pause for a second because I want to hear from you. Comment below how many shares of Seagate you currently hold, or if you think the shift to SSDs will eventually catch up to them. I'm curious to see if you're playing this through a Robinhood stock trading account or something more traditional like Fidelity IRAs. Moving into the institutional side of things, the trading volumes we are seeing today indicate that big money is moving in. This isn't just retail hype. When you see a stock like STX move 14% on 6 million shares of volume, that is the sound of mutual funds and ETFs rebalancing. If you are looking at Fidelity ETFs or Fidelity mutual funds that track the technology or hardware sector, you are going to see Seagate's weight increasing significantly. The risk, of course, is that the guidance remains tied to the capital expenditure cycles of a few giant companies. If the big three cloud providers slow down their spending, Seagate feels it immediately. But right now, the reality is that the AI arms race is forcing these providers to buy every terabyte they can get their hands on. The interactive broker's fees or the specifics of your Robinhood investments might matter for your entry point, but the macro picture here is the tension between the expectation of a dying industry and the reality of a critical infrastructure provider. Investors expected Seagate to struggle with margins as NAND flash prices dropped. Instead, Seagate improved their margins by offering proprietary HAMR technology that flash can't touch on a price-to-performance basis for mass storage. This is the curiosity loop that keeps professional traders coming back to this stock. It defies the simple tech replaces tech logic that most people use. As we look towards the future, the catalysts are clear. The further adoption of the Mosaic platform and the potential for even higher density drives, we're talking 40 to 50 terabytes in the coming years, will keep Seagate ahead of the curve. The risks involve global trade tensions and the possibility of a sudden breakthrough in flash storage costs, but for now, that's not on the immediate horizon. The company is leaning into its contract-driven model, which provides a level of earnings visibility that is rare in the hardware space. If you're using a SoFi robo-advisor or an intelligent portfolio, these are the types of structural shifts that the algorithms often pick up on before the general public does. In terms of the technicals, the stock has completely shattered its previous resistance levels. It's trading well above its 50-day and 200-day moving averages. For those into self-investing, this kind of breakout often leads to a period of consolidation, so don't be surprised if there's a small pullback after a 14% day, but the floor has clearly moved higher. The individual brokerage data shows that short interest has been dropping, meaning the skeptics are finally throwing in the towel. Whether you are browsing through Robinhood Crypto or looking for a place to park some gains, or you're a long-term holder in a Fidelity Wealth Management account, the narrative has shifted from survival to dominance. To summarize where we stand, Seagate started the day with heavy expectations on its shoulders. People wanted to see if the AI boom was actually hitting the bottom line or if it was just talk. The reality we got was a massive earnings beat, record-breaking margins, and a stock price that is currently $679.38 and climbing. The contrast between the old spinning disk reputation and the new AI data backbone reality is what is driving this 14% move. We've seen that institutional volume is backing this up, and the technology roadmap for HAMR-based drives looks solid for the next several years. If you are navigating the world of online investing, whether that's through interactive brokers trading or simply checking your Robinhood cash management account, keep an eye on the hyperscale capex reports. As long as the cloud giants are building, Seagate is winning. The tension between the skeptics and the believers has finally broken in favor of the believers. This is why the authoritative take right now is that Seagate isn't a legacy play. It's a fundamental part of the future of data. Make sure you are using all the tools available, from the Fidelity mobile app to sophisticated trading platforms, to track these volume spikes. The market has spoken today, and it's clear that the need for mass capacity storage is higher than ever. As we wrap up, remember that the stock market is a game of expectations versus reality. Today, Seagate's reality didn't just meet expectations, it blew them out of the water. This is why we see this level of engagement and price action. Keep your focus on the structural shifts, not just the daily noise. The move we saw today is a clear signal that the data infrastructure sector is undergoing a massive revaluation. Stay sharp, stay informed, and keep watching those intraday movements on your Interactive Brokers account or whatever platform you call home. The story of Seagate in 2026 is far from over, but today was a massive win for those who understood the true value of the hard drive in an AI-driven world. Disclaimer: this video is for educational purposes only, not financial advice. Please do your own research before investing. Market involves risk. Like this video, comment your thoughts, share with your friends, subscribe for more updates.